Hey, how y'all doing? This is Hunt 919 Truth of Sports coming to you with another segment. So I want to go ahead and get right into it. This is one of the segments that I do entitled What I Learned About Coach Prime's coaching staff. And I do this after every game. And this one is talking about the 34 to 23 win over Cincinnati. So I want to get right into some of the bulletin points that I have. They showed that they can run the ball, whether they're gaining a lot of yards from it or not. Because one of Coach Prime's philosophies is, if we're not gaining a lot of yards, we won't stick to the run, and we all know that you have to stick to the run just so it can, make your play action and everything else that you want to do on the offensive side of the ball. It'll make it a lot easier. And this time they stuck to it. Sometimes it was 1 yard, sometimes it was 2 yards, but they stuck to the run, and you could tell that made a difference. It also beats up the defense on the defensive side of the ball doing all of that tackling. They did show that they control the clock when they need to, from the run game. They also showed that they don't have to pass the ball 90% of the time in order to be productive or in order to win a game, which is very good to see. The game showed that they were legit and are legit on both sides of the ball. Even the Cincinnati coach was like, "Yeah, we knew they were legit on the offensive side of the ball." When you got Shador, you got Travis, and then you got top level receivers. And he was like, now, with the defensive side of the ball playing as well as they are, they're a legit team. And I totally agree with that. So they showed that they're legit on both sides of the ball. There were not a lot of wide open catches. Those cornerbacks were stuck to those Cincinnati receivers like glue, which was excellent and it was good to see. So at this point in time, they are 6-2 and they are bowl eligible, and they will be in a bowl. I did have them preseason. I had them 5-7 at the most, 6-6 at the best. With going to a bowl game, they are 6-2, so they're going to go well above that, I believe. So it is what it is. And Travis Hunter should still be on that Heisman list. If not, he should be one or two. That's just how I'm looking at it. I think two right now, because what the running back is doing, what he's doing out there, I forgot the name of the school. I'm looking right at. I can see it on my head. Um, but what that running back is doing is excellent too. But Travis is doing it on both sides of the ball. But and that is what it is. So let's go ahead and get right into the offensive side of the ball. Offensive side of the ball is led by Pat Shermer and Coach Loadholt. This is the offensive line for the most part. It looked like looked like Shermer had more control over the offense because of the run to pass ratio. They ran the ball 37 times, and they passed it 30 times. So that was good to see. If been watching my segments, I always talked about, they don't run the ball enough. Not just me, but a lot of people, and they're doing that. They don't have to depend on Shador, so much, and they can kind of, run the ball, run you into the ground a little bit. And because of that, the offense looked way more balanced as they have been the last couple of games, but they look very balanced this game. Shador was sacked only one time, and he blamed that on Travis, not the offensive line. You all can dig deeper into why he blamed Travis for it. And like I said, they did run the ball all game, which did surprise me. Like I said, I've been asking for them to do that for the last couple of years, which is why they've been losing running backs, et cetera, et cetera. And they finally did that. So the offensive line was very steady. They never dropped off from the beginning of the game to the end of the game. They protected Shador the whole time. And by halftime, the offense had produced 24 points. I think the last game against Arizona, they had produced 28 points at the half. So those guys are putting up numbers as far as the offensive core, the offensive line is concerned. So for the game, Shador went 25 of 30, which is excellent for 323 yards and two touchdowns. The O line helped produce 128 rush yards, which is excellent. So I give the O line an A because they only allowed one sack and really was zero sacks according to Shador. So you have to give them credit for that. So let's go ahead and get into the running backs, which is coached by Coach Gary Harrell or Coach Flea. I did a segment on this running backs. Actually, Coach Flea was about 3 or 4 weeks ago. Man, fight for those running backs. Fight to make you all an intricate part of the plan because you're going to lose running backs that way. Why come to a team where they're not going to run the ball? If you're a running back, it makes no sense, and it's going to make the team better. And they follow that philosophy, and they I don't want to. They almost look unstoppable. They do offense wise. They do. And since they're doing that, they had this all the running backs have produced more and more. They normally use three receivers for the most part, which which is again is sharing the ball. Um, but in this game, the running backs got 32 carries, -5 from Shador. I just tried to the rushing for the most part. I try to count and give that to to the running backs, but it was 32 carries, -5 from Shador. The running backs went 32 for 127 yards, which is excellent. The leading rusher was Augusta. He went 22 carries for 91 yards and one touchdown. There were three rushing touchdowns if you count Shador's. They finally had a great presence in the game. I mean, great, where they actually led as far as they ran the ball way more than they passed the ball with 32 rushes overall. The rushing game produced 128 yards and two touchdowns. So I give the receiving room a B plus for the production that they gave this game. It was good to see it. Let's get right into the wide receivers, which is led by Jason Phillips. The receivers always look great. They were very productive. They had Travis back, which just takes them to another level. Travis led the receivers again with 9 catches for 153 yards with a 17 per catch average, yards per catch and two touchdowns. He looked excellent. Jimmy Horn finally had a pretty good game because I've been calling for Jimmy Horn. He needs to be getting those 9 catches sometimes because he's also trying to go to the league and he also has great speed. And I would love to see him catch and go a couple of times. But he went 5 for 78. He did have a catch and go touchdown that he had called back because of taunting. I didn't know they could take the points away from you, but I will say this: just run into the end zone. You don't have to throw peace signs at anybody, man. Just get into the end zone and be grateful that you finally got an opportunity to score. I just hate that stuff, man. Be grateful you got an opportunity to score. Then when you get the opportunity to score, you gotta throw it in somebody's face, man. Just get into the end zone. I just hate. Even when I played, I hated that. So it's not my age. I just hate stuff like that. Um, but as far as the receiver, I mean, as far as let me see, Jimmy Horn, yeah, LaJohntay West had another good game with 5 catches for 56 yards. He just seems to be in the right place at the right time when Shador needs him, whether it's a third downs mostly, he will find him and he will make the catch. Congratulations to LaJohntay also because he got the number 1 jersey awarded to him, which at Colorado and Coach Prime is something he does not believe in doing for the most part unless you really, really earn it. And as far as I know, this is the first time he's given out that number 1. I could be wrong, but I know LaJohntay just got it. So congratulations to him. Shador hit 7 different receivers. He normally averages between 7 to 10 receivers that he hits. So he tries to get everybody involved into the game. They did outperform the Cincinnati receivers. The Colorado receivers had 25 catches for 323 yards and two touchdowns. Not Baylor, but the Cincinnati receivers had 16 catches for 180 yards and two touchdowns. So with the receivers, um, producing the way that they did. It's either 323 or 341. I'm sorry, I wrote because I typed this stuff up, so I think I mistyped it. So it's either 323 or 341. Um, but the receiving room looked great as they always do. I give them a B plus. They're always on point. They're going to keep grinding. The defense is getting to the defense now. The defense is led by Coach Vincent, Coach Lewis, Coach Livingston, Coach Hart, and Coach Mathis. The defense looked real good, very effective. I want to. If you watch the game, it just didn't seem as close as the score indicates. I don't know what it was, but it looked like the defense had complete control of the game, even though Cincinnati did put up what was it, 23 points. But if you watch it, it just looked different. They give up 23 points, but it was nothing big. The Cincinnati offense used a lot of clock when they did score. So even when they did score, it looks like that they had to use up so much energy and time that it always kept Colorado ahead in the game, and maybe that's why they look so dominant because they made you use a lot of time to score, which is good. So that's always good if you're a defense and you're going to score against me. At least you're going to have to work hard and take up a lot of time to score, especially if we got the lead. Number seven, Cameron Craig from who came from Jackson State led in tackles with 6. He also got a sack. I think that was the only sack of the game. I will say again, he's a pro prospect. They really like him as far as going to the next level. Preston Hodge had an excellent game. He was excellent in coverage. His stats won't show it, but you have to watch the game to know who he is and what he does. Even the ESPN commentators were just loving him. I mean, when I tell you stuck to the receivers like glue, I mean, he was all over the receivers that he was on. So you have to give him being credit for being an excellent, coverage guy and an excellent lockdown guy. At least this game, the defense only gave up 10 points in the second half. So that means that they only gave up 6 points, six second half points to North Dakota, zero to Nebraska. Colorado State, they gave up six second half points. Baylor, they gave up 7 points. UCF, they gave up second half points. Kansas State, 7 points. Arizona, zero. Cincinnati, 10. So that means they've only given up 43 points in the second half out of 8 games, which is excellent. That's a stat that needs to be talked about. That means they're getting better and better throughout the game. So if you don't catch them early, before they figure you out and these coaches figure you out, you may not score second half. And that's not me talking about it. That's just from the stats and watching the game and the stats. So they only gave up 180 passing yards and 171 rushing with 3 touchdowns. They gave up 2 rushing touchdowns and 1 passing touchdowns. So I give those guys a B plus. Getting to the kicking game or special teams, Mata looked good. He didn't miss anything. Really nothing big to speak on as far as the kicking game and the special teams is concerned. I give them a solid B, B plus. The players of the game I gave to Shador because he went not for the yards, but because he went 25 or 30. That's just great quarterbacking, man. You may not like, or I may not like all the extra antics that he does, but I respect that kid as a quarterback. And watching him play, I don't know if you ever watch a game and because you can only see half of the field, on TV, but when he released the ball, it's probably going to be completed. Now I'm a Cowboy fan, so when I'm watching the Cowboys games and Dak is throwing it, I'm nervous. I have no idea what's going to happen. It's probably going to be bad. So if that's a good comparison, but he went 25 or 30, so I named him as one of the players of the game. Travis Hunter again on the receiving side, he went 9 catches for 153 yards and 2 touchdowns. On the defensive side, he had 4 pass breakups. So anytime they threw to him, basically got a knockdown that almost picked off. Cameron Craig from Jackson State, one of my favorite players. He led the defense in tackles with 6. He was also the only one who got a sack that game. And I give the offensive line player of the game for stepping up and only giving up 1 sack, even though most say it was not their fault. But let's just say they gave up 1 sack, which is great. And according, like I said, to Shador, that was Travis's fault. So those are my players of the game. And anytime I name a player of the game, you have to attribute those coaches to who are coaching those kids. So a great game to watch. It was a great win. Again, like I said, I had them winning 6 at the most, and they have that already. So they're going to obviously go above that, I believe. So congratulations to them. And it is what it is. So they got another win. They're bowl eligible. They're 6-2. It's been Hunt 919 Truth to Sports. Ride with me.